All right, over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about self-publishing children's books. And now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. A lot of people want to know, okay, how do I sell more books? Now, naturally, in order to sell more books, you got to, of course, get out in front of more people. How do you do that? Marketing and promotion. But what do you need to do in order to market and promote your book properly as a children's book author? Well, there's so many things we can talk about. I'm going to make sure we summarize it in today's podcast episode, so make sure that you stay tuned. Well, what's happening? It's Dale here, and I'm just tickled to death you took a little bit of time out your day to spend a little bit of time with me to talk about my favorite thing, self-publishing books. And oh my goodness, normally I go into a sponsor spot of sorts, but I thought I would just take a minute or two to say thank you to you the listener, you the viewer, those that have been supporting me on Twitch. I want to thank you. Whether you're taking time out your day to watch the content, whether you're ordering something through an affiliate link, whether you're being a subscriber on Twitch or over on YouTube, those things mean the world to me. It helps enable me to give you the information that you come to look for. I kind of think of it in this regard. If you happen to be new to self-publishing with Dale, the thing that I pride myself on is I obsess over such a niche topic. There's not too many people that just obsess over it. But I obsess over self-publishing so that you don't have to. I want you to focus on writing. I want you to focus on publishing. I don't want you to have to sweat about other little small details. And I try to just curate the best information, the cream of the crop, and provide it to you. So rather than a sponsor spot this time around, I'm just going to give you a big thank you. I definitely appreciate it. All right, let's get right into self-publishing children's books, marketing and promotion. We got to start it out with a little bit of prep work. It's so important that you get these things put in line because otherwise everything thereafter is going to be an uphill battle, even worse than probably what it would be. The prep work's going to include having the right packaging. Now, when I mean packaging, let's start it out with the cover. If your cover does not match up or measure up to the top 20 inside your children's author niche, then you got to go back to the drawing board. You're going to need to hire someone who can do it, that can make it look nice. Because a hit cover is not going to be something a kid is going to want to A, read, or B, a parent even want to touch. So you got to please both audiences and make sure a good cover is something you invest in. Next thing is going to be copy, aka the book description. You need to lead with your best stuff right away. Now, I'm not telling you need to take a segment and post it inside your book description, but you have to have a conversation with the parents. Because most times, 99.9% of the time, a parent is going to be buying your book for their child, or someone that's an adult is going to be buying it for the child. So get that book description really dialed in. And it shouldn't just be, well, this is what you're going to expect. And this is what they do. And everybody's happily ever after. No, you're going to need to make sure you hook, talk about, and show what's going to be inside. Then call to action. Buy it now. All right, the next thing is, this is going to be no more prep work. And this is going to require a little bit more time and sometimes finances, all right? Book awards and editorial reviews. I'm clapping as I said this because there is emphasis I want to put in each one of these things. Book awards are one of the best ways to have some prestige, some credibility, some authority lent to your publication. Because if you've got a little sticker on your children's book, then chances are very likely a parent's going to go, look, this won an award, so it can't be too bad. So that's something considers book awards. And the next thing is going to be editorial reviews, because before you get it on out there, you want to get somebody from a credible authority position, from the likes of people like Kirkus or Union Square Review or even Reed's eDiscovery. Any number of those places can give you editorial reviews. So how do you get those book awards, and how do you get the editorial reviews? A little bit of foreshadowing. I almost just misstepped there. Book awards. I'm going to say this to my dying day. All right. Go to Book Award Pro. You could go and get book awards on your own if you want to, but the problem is there's hundreds of thousands of book awards out there in the world, and it's tough to sift through all that stuff and know what's going to be the most appropriate for you. But the nice thing is the gang over at Book Award Pro, they sweat all that stuff for you. They worry about finding the right book awards for you and matching you up with those things. And really the nice thing about their pro plan, that's their top tier plan, is that they will submit the applications for you. Now, why do I gush about them? Because I did a 30-day case study and they won me 5 awards in 30 days. Hello, sign me up for more. By the way, folks, you can take a look over at Book Award Pro, my affiliate link over at dalelinks.com/Book Award Pro. It also is going to be a link inside the show notes. Next one for editorial reviews, I highly recommend look into Union Square Review. They're not expensive, but they're not cheap by any stretch. Really, really like what they did. I've worked with them before. You can go take a look over them at dalelinks.com/Union Square Review. Now, why do you want book awards and editorial reviews? Again, it comes down to getting that third-party credibility, getting it to where someone says, yes, this person's the bee's knees. Yes, they've done some children's book and you're going to love it. And here's why. Let's move this forward. We got to push this cart forward because I still have to talk about 5 ways to market and promote a children's book. Believe it or not, prep work's almost set. Building out an advanced reader copy team. Getting an ARC team together is one of the most effective ways to have an amazing book launch. And how do you get an advanced reader? Simple. There's services out there like Story Origin or Booksprout or BookFunnel to where you can actually do some newsletter swaps with other authors inside your niche. The theory is behind newsletter swaps is you know somebody on Story Origin that has, let's say, for instance, a children's book. You have a children's book and you both have newsletters. So you share their book, they share your book. The nice thing is you promote together. So building out that advanced reader copy team, though, you can also do this over through those services and bring in people that are willing to read your book in advance with the expectation that they will leave an honest review when it publishes. All right. So now we've got all the prep work out the way. Let's talk about 5 ways to market and promote your children's book. All right. Start out. Easy peasy. You'll know this one. I want you to predict. Say, what is Dale most likely to say? If you've been following me long enough, and if you just happen to be this your first episode, this will probably be no surprise when I say Amazon advertising. By far, and I've even heard even Brian Cohen from Amazon Ad School talk about this as well. By far, children's books have the lowest cost per click versus their adult counterparts. Excuse me. I almost messed that one up. Why this is, not really sure. Maybe there's not as many children's book authors out there utilizing this platform, but I would really recommend that you look into doing this. And you've heard me say in the past that to run Amazon advertising, it doesn't really cost all that much so long as you are not putting a budget that you can't afford to lose and keeping your cost per click low. So when I say low, you're going to do embarrassingly low. Like you wouldn't even want to share with anybody. You're going to pay, let's say 10 to 15 cents cost per click. And you're going to keep your ad budget down to about $1 to $10 per day. Trust me, at a low CPC like that, if you've got about 100 good relevant keywords within a specific ad, you're still not going to go over budget. I'm hard pressed to seeing that. But the nice thing is you're going to find the low hanging fruit, the keywords that are going to convert the best that cost the least, because we want to get in the victories that we want to where we can. All right, let's push it forward here. Way number 2, book clubs. Oh man, believe it or not, there's still book clubs. In fact, they're alive and kicking between your local libraries and through like sites like book clubs, which is spelled BOOKCLUBZ.com. There's so many ways that you can reach book clubs that are specifically looking for your type of content. So, and by the way, I just kind of have to have an aside here. I mentioned Union Square Review. The nice thing is they actually will give you placement to bookclubs.com for free, which goes out to like tens of thousands of book clubs and such. When you get a 4-star or 5-star review, I can't remember. You'd have to go and visit that link again, but it's nice that you get that type of a placement. But you can go with the path of least resistance. And I would just say, where's your local library? Find it. Find out what programs that you can get involved in. Now, depending on where you're at in the neck of the woods or when you're listening to this podcast, of course, we're right now, still some areas of the world are in lockdown, so that's probably not going to be possible. So you're going to probably have to find the online alternatives. If you do have a local library and it's open, and in my instance here in Columbus, Ohio, it's open, but they're not really having any community events like book clubs, then there's that. So just keep in mind, you might have to do online for now, but if you happen to be listening to this a few years down the road, maybe we have had all those, restrictions lifted and we can all go out and actually attend book clubs in person. Way number 3 for marketing and promoting your children's book is going to be video and audio interviews. Now, don't make the mistake of me telling you and thinking that you're going to go do an interview and you're going to sell scads of books, that you're going to become huge, that you're going to be like, oh, as soon as I get on this podcast, I'm going to sell 1,000 copies out the gate. Not really. When it comes to interviews and appearances, most times what this does is it gets you visible. It puts you in front of more people. And I think it was once put before that if you are a salesman, that it takes usually like 6 or 7 different contacts before a person decides they want to buy. Well, if somebody happens to see you for the first time in an interview, I'm hard pressed to seeing that they trust you so much that they're going to go over and buy your book. But the nice thing is next time they're inside the library or they're over at Barnes and Noble, or maybe they're chatting with a friend and they see this particular book that is yours. They go, oh my gosh, I remember that person had an interview. Maybe I should check it out. So get out there and get as many of these interviews as possible. It's going to come down to this. Not sexy. It's not perfect. All you're going to do is do a Google search. Comes down to that. And all you're going to do is search for parenting podcasts or channels, or find anything relevant to your niche for children's books. And all you're going to do is just search it up. Offer to send them a free copy. Yeah, I know you're going to have to eat a little bit of cost, but if you just send them an ebook copy, then that's great. Don't send it right out the gate. Make contact with the podcaster or the YouTuber and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. Are you accepting any interviews? Because I'd be excited to do that. And I'd be happy to send you a free copy of my latest publication. Provide value first. All right. These podcasters and these YouTubers and these video content creators don't really care about your book. What they care about is their audience and what you can bring to the table for their audience. So lead with that in mind when you're reaching out to them, instead of, hey, I'm a children's author, you should have me on. I know you have guests, so yeah, bring me on. And by the way, you're going to have to give me $100 in order for me to appear. No, don't do none of that stuff. Next one, number 4, the press release. This is an interesting one. I've actually dabbled with this, and I've had some friends that have had some really great success with press releases. And sometimes it comes down to perfect timing. Press releases, believe it or not, are easier than you know. Super, super simple. You can find some services, again, Google search away from doing it. I think it might be prnews.com might be one of them that does a free option. And then, there's a premium versions as well. But it can be anywhere from about free, which gives limited exposure, to about $50 to $500, depending on how much reach that you want to do. I would recommend that you do a press release as you're getting ready to launch. Don't wait till after the launch. Because you wait till after launch, well, this piece is going to be, pretty much old. They want relevant new news. And if your timing's just perfect, then you're going to be good to go. All right. Way number 5. We're burning through these here today, folks. Free and premium book promotion websites. I actually had somebody reach out to me personally and said, hey, what are some places I can do this at? Do you recommend? I should have a post on my own website about this, but I'm like, I just always send people over to my go-tos. And my go-tos include Kindlepreneur, Readsy, David Gogren, TCK Publishing. All 4 of those sources are very reputable and they've actually curated a list of all of them. If I were to point out any of my favorite, Readsy's probably my most favorite. The fact that they actually cover just about anything and everything, and it actually has a search window that you can find specifically the type of niche that you want when you're promoting your book. But you can take a look at those free ones and the premium ones. I would recommend that if you do use these type of services, that you spread it out. Don't try to load them up all on a single day, because then you don't know what is most effective and what is going to be shifting the units for you. And then you can duplicate it from that point forward. So, any rate, that's 5 good ways. And I'm going to give some final notes and some final thoughts here in just a moment. Before we do that, I want to give a big special thanks to those of you that actually watch me over on the YouTube podcast channel. Yeah, that's right. Not just the regular channel. There is a YouTube podcast channel over at dalelinks.com/YouTube podcast. You happen to be watching this right now, drop me a comment. Definitely would love to hear from you. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. I am just tickled to death. And I am super excited to let you know that starting May 17th, we actually are going to be recording the podcasts 100% live on the podcast channel. Yeah, that's right. You can be able to catch it over on YouTube. You don't have to go over to Twitch anymore after May the 10th. May 10th will be the last Twitch broadcast. And at that point, we'll be moving over to YouTube podcast permanently. So I'm super excited and geeked up about that. All right, final tip. When it comes to marketing and promoting your kid's book, believe it or not, I could spend about 5 hours talking about how you can market and promote. Believe it or not, you happen to be listening to this. You're probably saying, Dale, it seems like information that people can use for all books. You're right. There's not too much different when it comes to doing children's books than it does any of the other ones. But just remember, your audience is going to be a little bit more mixed. You've got parents and you got kids. So, test it out, any of those marketing and promotion methods for yourself. Not everything is going to work for everyone. So these 5 methods, 1 or 2 might work for you, or maybe 1, or maybe none of them. Maybe you have something else that might work out for you. Finding that one thing that starts to move the needle and selling more books and getting it to where there's more books in kids' hands, and double down on that method. I'm just giving you some ideas to kind of grease the creative wheels and get you moving in the right direction as a children's book author. It's just up to you to take it from there. I tell everybody that it's a self-published author, ABM. Always be marketing. Always be marketing. Keep pushing that book, because the time that you stop promoting your book, people are going to stop caring about it because they don't know about it. That's going to be the thing. Hey folks, subscribe or follow me on your preferred podcast platform, and do me a favor and leave a review. I'd appreciate that greatly, of course. And next week, we're going to be talking about the new and upcoming feature just rolled out by Amazon called Kindle Vella. Is Kindle Vella worth it? Well, we'll talk about it in next week's podcast. Till then, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I will chat with you next week.